Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as always, I'm joined by
Thomas.
and we are about to watch the final episode of season 14/season 1 of Doctor Who, Empire of Death, and we have both held off watching this. So we have it. This is a genuine reaction. And not that the others weren't genuine reactions, they were more like reviews. We'd seen them and we were kind of watching it again. But we've not seen this at all, so we don't know what's going to happen in this episode. Thomas, coming into it, I mean, I think it's fair to say that last week's episode was probably both of our favourite of the season so far.
Yeah, very strong, I thought. I mean, had issues, but in terms of that central set piece with the time window and the build-up and reveal at the end, I was like, I feel excited about Doctor Who and I feel excited about this season. So I've been looking forward to this episode, and I have managed to avoid spoilers, and I think you have as well. I've seen a few comments. I've stayed off our Discord basically because I was like,
same.
I see anything. But I've seen a few comments on our other videos that have said seemed quite disappointed with this episode, to put it mildly.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same position as you. I've tried to avoid most things, but I have seen the odd comment from people that has... The only comments I've seen have actually been negative, which doesn't bode well. But what are you hoping for in this final episode? Where are you hoping we're going to land? Or
That's a good question. I just want it to be a good story.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I do just want it to be good. You want, after the build-up in the last story, you want this to be... I mean, and some people said one criticism of the last story from the people was that there isn't really a lot of plot there. It's just build up. And that's true, but it's a two-parter, so you can kind of... I think you can get away with that, but it relies on this second part, sticking the landing, and, being something that makes you sit up at the end of a series and go, oh, that was great. Yeah, I'm glad we had that. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some stuff with Mrs. Flood again. I'd like to see more on that. I'd like to see something to do with Susan, his actual granddaughter. I hope for that. I hope there's a payoff there. Obviously, I'm hoping Sutek. I'm kind of hoping that we'll see Sutek in the form he appeared in the 70s as well. So I'd be disappointed if we don't get that. But yeah, I mean, I just hope it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't answer all the questions, because I realise he may want to spin some of them out for like a second series. So, I'm not saying I have to find out who Ruby's mother is in this episode, or it's a bad episode or anything like that. Because it might be that he chooses to hold some of those for longer.
Yeah.
But you want at the end of a season it plumbs some real depths, and you feel like there's a genuine threat, but then the good guys win, hopefully.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't feel, in a way that feels earned, I suppose. Yeah.
It should feel like a momentous end, shouldn't it, to a season? Whatever happens, even if there are things which are still unanswered and carry over.
Yeah, because if it's just a sort of a fizzle, you're kind of like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So no fizzles.
No fizzles, please.
No fizzles, please. Well, here we go.
Let's do this.
What have you got for us? I'll just say for anyone watching along on iPlayer, I'll just get that set. We're going to start the show in 3, 2, 1, go.
Is this a longer episode? Is it like 50 minutes, 55?
It is. Oh, I like these previously. We haven't had these for a while, have we?
Well, I guess no, we haven't had a two-parter, have we?
Here we go.
Nice.
So what's going to happen? How are they going to get out of this pickle?
Okay, come on, don't let us down.
Oh, wow.
Nice effect. I mean, if you were a kid, you'd be terrified, wouldn't you? This genuinely horrifying. My phone somewhere.
Sutek's dust of death.
Dust of death. I mean, that. Yeah, perhaps.
I'm already imagining the TV advert for that.
I bring Sutek's dust of death.
Don't destroy the TARDIS. Has he got machine guns on that?
I mean, he is like 13, right?
Yeah.
Really, he needs a responsible adult with him. Hope he's got parental consent to be there.
To use those firearms.
I mean, it's visually very, very good.
It is. This room has taken a battering, hasn't it? If you think the toy maker did all his antics in here. And now the god of death. Oh no.
Oh, not the blinks. I quite like the blinks.
Yeah.
Oh, are they going to kill off these characters? They're going to kill off...
Oh no. Is Kate gonna die?
Looks like it.
No way.
Oh, I hope he doesn't do a Moffat and bring them all back at the end, because it will lose any... Oh, I didn't see them killing off everyone there.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like they would have made a bigger deal for it if that was genuinely the end.
I don't know, like, maybe just doing it like that at the very beginning
Yeah.
just catches you out, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. This is nice, because again we're seeing familiar, well for us these are quite familiar sights, aren't they, in London, and this feels quite believable.
Yeah.
The panic.
We interrupt this broadcast with warnings of an incident in central London. People are being told to evacuate the city immediately.
No, we have got Mrs. Flood.
Yeah. I want more action from Mrs. Flood.
Mrs. Flood last week I thought was a real little highlight, just the way she turned.
We'd all like a lot of things.
Then tell your maker, I will come to storm down his gates of gold and seize his kingdom in my true name.
What you
Whoa.
talking about?
Yowza.
Who are you?
I'm sorry, you tiny little woman. I'm so, so sorry. It ends like this. I had such plans.
Oh.
Oh. Ah.
Oh.
What's happened to Mrs. Flood? I'm intrigued, at least. I'm intrigued.
This is pretty strong so far, isn't it? I mean, I know we're only a few minutes in.
exactly. Yeah. It's a long way to go yet, but
Like, you feel a genuine sense of, yep, Sutek is winning at the moment. Ooh.
is this a different? It's the memory TARDIS from the Tales of the TARDIS.
No way,
isn't
it is. Hang on, so he got into the holographic version of the TARDIS.
So the TARDIS from 2004, is it? Like on the
Yes. Yes.
Ruby, it is feeding off you. Yeah, give it everything you've got, babes. Remember it harder.
Yes, yes, I can, yes.
If time is a memory, the memory is a time machine.
Whoa.
Yes, that's it. More. I should do it. Okay, right. The TARDIS is remembering itself.
Doctor,
We meet again, my Doctor, what is that thing?
Sutek, the death of ages, the Typhonian beast. The greatest monster I have ever fought. The time window has my memories too.
It's your life, Doctor. It's telling the story of your life.
A long time ago, in the England of 1911, Sutek had been bound and imprisoned for all eternity, but he rose again, and I defeated him. I cast you into the time vortex. I sent you forward to your own death.
Instead, I found a home. I clung to your infernal machine, and for so many years, I hid.
Oh, he was there all this time.
You for all this time,
Yeah.
riding the spine of your ship, staring into eternity, and evolving into my true godhood. Now,
Is that a ruby in the middle of his head?
Ruby Sunday.
Well,
it will stand as my altar, the temple of my empire of
So it was her at the time.
oh yeah. We thought it looked like Matt Smith.
Yeah.
again, Doctor. Never. And I saw inside the TARDIS so many secrets. Her name,
Susan.
the perfect trap. I created an apparition of her universally. Every time we landed on every single world, I birthed them all. My angels of death, now standing triumphant across the universe.
I bring Sutek's dust of death.
Oh, wow.
Every living thing is an abomination. I am coming to release them into blessed depths, and I find that good.
And I damn you, Sutek. I damn you in the name of life itself. And I swear to you, with both the hearts of the last of the Time Lords, I will stop you. I will defeat you. And I will turn back death. And why am I still alive? Killing me is your gift. And believe me, Sutek, I am an extinction event. So what is stopping you? Why is the god of death not killing me? What am I missing? I'll tell you a secret. Suits.
Suits.
This feeling that you have now. This doubt. Have you ever felt so alive? And doesn't it feel good?
What is it?
So remember TARDIS. Bits and pieces of every TARDIS that ever was, held together by hopes and wishes and luck.
Wait, does this thing work? Can it fly?
No idea. No, we need that. Tie that lever down, all those switches down, yeah? See these wires? Tie them together, tie them tight.
Doctor!
Sort of falling apart, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little bit of Shooty's theme kind of creeping in, is it?
Oh, yeah.
14s.
Absolute death trap, Millie.
Yes.
He's 15, isn't he? He's 15.
15,
Season 14,
yeah.
that's what I've got in my head. I don't think we've actually had his theme much through the whole series, have we? Given the build-up and, you know, the fact it was released before the season began.
I noticed it at the start of Boom when he runs out of the TARDIS. Yeah, not a huge amount.
Nice and easy. Okay. See? That hook is a molecular bond.
The name's Bond.
Intelligent rope.
Molecular bond.
Intelligent glove. That was the first day we met. I am so sorry.
I can't help but feel there must be a big reset button at some point because her mum's dead and everything. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels a bit too. Like it would be a bit too much.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what did I miss? Every Susan tried.
I mean, fair play if he stuck with it.
Absolutely real. Every time the TARDIS would land, it would roll her out like. Okay, so the TARDIS has a perception filter, so it doesn't get noticed. It just sits there kind of unseen because it casts a field around it at 66.7 meters exactly.
73 yards.
Ooh.
How do you know that?
I don't know, I just do.
Oh, that's interesting.
Funny things happen at 73 yards. People say that you can see things. So, Sutek, he used this field, but he used it massively. He focused his mind and created a whole new person everywhere I'd land. But perception means that she fitted in. She had character, she had history, she had a truth.
Doctor, you landed on Earth 100 times.
I think she was reborn every time. Each time the TARDIS would land, the idea of that woman would get stronger and stronger. By 2024, she was Susan Triad. This monumental figure.
What's she done? Sutek called her an angel of death. What did she do?
Whoa. This is bad, isn't it?
Pretty bad, yeah.
The death of everyone.
Every living thing.
I do like that console on the ceiling.
Spreading all over the world.
This reminds me a bit of
My mother, is she?
13 and Yaz sitting on top of the TARDIS.
And the Doctor, like 11 and Amy were kind of opened the doors and she was hanging out in space, wasn't she? And he's holding on to her and even Donna looked out the doors with David Tennant in The Runaway Bride.
Oh, yeah.
And Capaldi sits on top of it, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's
You
true.
listen.
Cross-legged.
1066. 2005.
I think Gatwa's doing pretty well here, actually.
The Earth.
Yeah, I think he certainly had better stuff to do in these last two episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot more weight to this, isn't there?
I mean, he's in them, which
Yeah.
is a good start. Like- I mean, it looks great. I mean, as always, it has been visually pleasing this season.
Every world that I ever stood upon. All dead.
That's quite a clever concept. So he's unwittingly brought death to all the worlds he's been to.
Yeah.
The huge sphere. And Skyro.
The Daleks are dead.
Everything is dead.
Yay! At least the
Oh, well.
Daleks are dead.
So many.
Every cloud.
They must be safe.
I've traveled so far. Everything caught in that pattern is dying. The whole of time and space. I did this.
You did not.
No.
Every sun is dead. The universe has come to a halt.
Oh,
And it is my fault. Because I traveled to all those worlds. I thought it was fun.
the end. Oh, he does look good, doesn't he? Up close, the CGI is slightly off, but from here, that is such a cool image.
The Time Lord.
No
His
greater than him.
voice is excellent.
Oh, a secret. Is he referring to Ruby there?
In the hollows of this desolate universe, they are hiding somewhere lost to the wind and the wilds.
Excuse me. Can you tell me, where are we?
No idea. Absolutely no idea, darling. All I've got is this chaffee. Do you want some?
That's very kind. Only
Chaffee?
enough.
Where did you come from?
Maybe it's like
Nowhere.
Mavity.
I got a bit lost.
Coffee has become chaffy.
It's been a very
Yeah.
long time.
Costa Chaffee.
I haven't seen anyone in weeks. There was a caravan that passed through, heading towards, I don't know, somewhere over that way. They said there was food, but I haven't seen them since. Hush now, darling. Let me give the man his chaffee.
Who is a little one?
I think I called her Brindle.
Space Baby.
Brindle D.
It's
I forget.
It's Eric.
What is this place called?
Hard to remember. They say memory is dying. There was a man that said that actual facts were dying in the death wave. But I think this was the city of... It began with a B.
In the planet?
I don't think I was born here. Then I met my husband, whatever his name was. Tall. He was tall, I remember that. But it was all a very long time ago.
Well, at least you survived.
I'm not sure I did, really. The funny thing is, I do remember an opera house over that way. Of all the things to remember, maybe I worked there, maybe I sang. But people used to come from all over, with lights and their diamonds, all sorts of things. It was lovely.
Have you got any metal?
Metal is a precious thing, sir.
So yeah, I've got some Metallica, I've got some Anthrax, Slayer. No. What do you want?
Heavy metal.
I suppose you do have a very nice face.
When you pretend to be interested in someone, but really you're just after their metal.
Just want their spoon.
I'll forget it in a minute.
That's very kind of you. I will use this spoon, I promise.
might save the universe with a spoon.
That would be nice. We should go now.
Hey, you okay?
It's Sheffield Steel.
I think my daughter died. And I forgot.
Hmm.
It's a bit dark, isn't it?
Hmm. The death wave. Yeah, this is pretty bleak.
They say it travels the death wave down the family line. Except that this man, he said it's perverse, is what he said. But it's so determined to kill that it can travel backwards, from child to mother. But it's okay because I really am very tired. Such a nice face.
Off she goes, do you think?
Oh.
Yep.
I swear to you, with a spoon.
Only in Doctor Who.
Have to be honest, I think the scene in the memory TARDIS and this scene, they felt quite long to me. Like, I'm a bit like, come on, let's move.
Hmm.
Look, look, look.
Oh, is this original Sutek, Paul?
Still connected to the time window.
Hey.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I like. Although he has a mask, another mask. I would hope to see.
And who were they? That woman and the man with the hair?
They just travelled in the TARDIS. That's how I know Mal. We travelled together, didn't we?
Best time of my life.
We met Einstein.
Did we? God, I've forgotten.
Okay.
Exhausted.
I still don't get it. What changed? Sutek was hidden for years. Why did he go on the attack?
Ask that again.
Why did he go on the attack? Why did Sutek appear on Ruby Road?
It's answering you. The images are reaching out to you.
What do you mean?
They're trying to help.
Hmm.
The time window is still connected to your memories. Maybe it's trying to ask you something.
But what does this have to do with my mother?
Oh, because. Oh. Sutek became visible outside the church because when he landed with the TARDIS in 2004, he saw the one thing beyond his comprehension. Your mother.
But who is she?
We don't know. And I need to see, that's the point.
Hmm.
That's interesting.
Oh. He's been riding on the back of the TARDIS beholding all of time and space, and then he can't see one woman. One woman, one singular, mysterious woman. No wonder he's keeping us alive. To figure out the answer, who is she?
But if gods are scared of her, then what the hell does that mean? She's not this big cosmic thing, is she? Because in that case, what am I?
Ruby, you are absolutely human.
But who is she, and why was she pointing at you?
Melanie.
Oh.
I see.
Hmm.
We can find the living through time and space and family.
Good makeup.
Hmm.
Okay, then who's that?
I mean, the government has collapsed.
Oh, it's that guy.
So we are going back to this.
What was his name? Roger Ap Gwilym.
Something like that, yeah. So we've had 73 yards referenced.
Yeah.
Show me. In particular, the DNA testing regime. It's giving you another answer. But what is it?
Well, that's the guy with the TV, but who's he?
I propose compulsory DNA testing for the entire population.
Roger Ap Gwilym. The most dangerous Prime Minister in history. But that's 2046.
Oh.
You haven't met him, have you?
No. No, I couldn't, could I?
Then why is it showing you? 2046.
2046. He did it. DNA testing became compulsory for the entire population in the UK. So if your mother was still alive,
She'd be on record.
she would be on the register. We've never been able to find it because she never got tested, but 2046, she's got no choice. It is showing us the way, Ruby. It's showing us the path to your mother. If I could just...
What does that mean? Can we find Ruby's mother?
Yeah, and what happens if we do?
One question at a time. Right, the TARDIS doesn't have much power, but...
Saw the mask of one of the Clockwork robots in the background there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs in there, aren't there?
Handy. Love a whistle. 2046, here we come!
Well, 2046 doesn't exist, does it?
Yes, but it is preserved in death, because I once landed there, so it's fixed, yeah? Hold that down.
I see them, Melanie. Every living thing contains dead cells.
Skin, nails, battle, Sutek can see through the dead.
Melanie.
Closer, closer! Bring them to Sutek. Find the mother's name.
2046.
Whoops.
Nice little piles of dust there. Nice, neat little addition.
Thank you.
Doctor does now look a bit like he's about to run a PE class for some soldiers in the military or something.
Full metal jacket.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
So we're like hacking a computer?
Sort of thing, yeah.
Nice lighting in that. That's a 2046 computer.
Nice.
I can kind of buy that.
Nice.
Into the mouth. Nice.
DNA list was locked away under top security. But guess who invented the security? Come on.
Yes! Yes! Okay, Mel, you better keep watch. The Sutek service could be anywhere. And don't take any risks. We're all getting out of this.
Don't worry about me. Find that name.
Think the Doctor knows? Think he's suspicious?
He can see something, can't he?
I think so.
Submit to me, Melanie.
Oh.
That's me. So what do we do now?
Press search. Somewhere in there is your mother's name, and maybe we can use it to fight Sutek. Searching 76 million people.
Who is she?
Melanie. Here I see
Come on.
Carol of the Bells again.
Maybe
her mum's called Carol.
Carol singer.
She died. She died. And I'm sorry. I loved you, Mel.
What good did love do, Doctor? Now give me the name.
Well, what does it mean?
Give Sutek the name.
Bring me the Time Lord and the child and their precious secret.
I bring you a gift, Holy Sutek.
Excellent.
The last two creatures in existence. To die at your hand. Then you can end our wretched half-life. So that silence can reign.
And you can stand alone for all eternity, gazing
upon your empire
of dust and ice and oblivion.
Show me the name. Show me, child.
Sutek.
Bring the name to me.
Sutek, I promise you I will worship you. If you just allow me.
You have lived for far too long, little Lord of Time.
I've got the name. No, I've got the name, and I'll give it to you. Can you just let him go? The screen. It found the name. But I don't understand. And I wish I could. It's the only thing I've ever wanted for all these years. But now I've found it. And I don't understand.
Oh, this is interesting. What's it going to be?
But maybe you can.
I was just wondering where this is going to go.
Maybe this
Yeah.
is for you.
Waiting for so long.
Oh.
You great big god of nothing.
I knew, Sutek. I knew.
She's too cold. Listen to me.
This way.
Die at the hand of Sutek.
Did they really just put a leash on Sutek?
Oh, cool. Remotely controlling the TARDIS. Whoa. Prizing it off him. It's literally just a bungee cord.
Into the vortex.
Oh, that's There's no way that cord would be strong enough.
What just happened?
Love my whistle. You saw all of time and space with me, Sutek. So I thought, what if you see again? What happens if you bring death to death? You bring life.
Ah. A double negative. Whoa, look at that. Splitting the reality open.
What? What's actually going on?
They brought death to death, Paul.
Oh, I see. Right.
Now death itself is dying. Yeah, a
The
bit of an
last
easy
enemy,
fix.
the
isn't
last
it?
enemy to be defeated is death.
There we go. By using a piece of string and a whistle. And a spoon.
So I don't think we're going to get Mrs. Flood explained, I don't think, are we?
Yeah. So she knew what was going on, but...
She wasn't part of it, though, was she?
Yeah, because I thought she was evil, but she clearly just... She was just sort of accepting her fate. And now she's like...
Leave that, hold that, and that.
What's happening?
Life, Ruby. Life. Ah! We bring life to the whole planet and universe. Mortis, Diana, Fox, Mescaline, Califrax, Spyrodon,
Gallifrey.
Tenos,
Come on.
Shang. Oh, the Sphere is alive. Ah! Oh!
Really cares about the Oodsphere, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
And there, the planet called Aqua Santina.
Ooh, what's that? Ah.
Is a tall husband going to appear?
We fought a monster. And now, I must become a monster.
What?
The destroyer! The Lord God of death itself! You win! Because I pride myself!
Some of the design in this I find very reminiscent of Ghostbusters, the original film.
Yes.
Like the black dogs and the Gozer and stuff like that.
And the lightning.
Yeah.
And that's how you win, Sutek! Because you turned me into this! I am the one that brings death.
But I'm still me. I've still got my memories, my family. All of that's still true, is it?
Absolutely. You are who you are.
The god of death created life.
And he gave you a very good brain. I think the unit can use you.
Oh.
But anything to help, I don't mind. I'll make the tea.
Did you make this tea?
I did, yes.
Don't make the tea.
You should have seen
Morris
me.
tucking into
I had
some
to walk
pizza.
home. I got in and your gran was telling me off for not dusting.
Sherry.
I want you to say...
Oh, don't, Mum, it's alright.
I want you to say thank you, Doctor. You brought her home.
You brought all of us back from, well, who knows where.
Do you remember what happened when you...
Echoes.
We've done it.
DNA retrieval 100%.
Whoa. Oh, her.
Louise Alison Miller. 35 years old. 15 when she gave birth to you.
Records say her stepfather was, well, he was trouble. I think she did the right thing getting you out of that house. She must have hidden the pregnancy. Father, William Benjamin Garnett, 15 at the time. Louise moved to Coventry at the age of 18. Did well, got a degree. She's a nurse.
That's what I don't understand. She's so ordinary.
She's wonderful.
No, she's wonderful. And she's ordinary, but I love her for that. How did she stay invisible from a god? She defeated Sutek.
She was important. Because we think she's important. It's how everything happens. Every war, every religion, every love story. We invest things with significance. So while the whole of creation is turning around her, it made her sheer existence more powerful than Time Lords and gods. In the end, the most important person in the universe was the most ordinary. A scared little girl, making her baby safe.
But she pointed.
She did.
She
Mm.
pointed at you, Doctor.
She wasn't pointing at me. Because we cleaned up the VHS. Behind me was that lamppost.
So,
It was a signpost. She was pointing at the name of the road. She was naming you.
In what way? In what way was she naming her? Like, for
Yeah,
who?
who was what? Who did she think was watching?
Who,
at that?
who did she think was watching?
The VHS.
my own mother chose it. My name is Ruby.
Is that the big reveal? Her name is Ruby.
I never saw that coming.
She's happy. She's got a flat. She's got a fella named Mike. She goes to Spain in 3 weeks. And the point is that she has had over 7,000 days to come and find you, and she never has.
Ooh.
I found her.
With a time machine.
Bit harsh.
Mm.
Is that fair? Louise Miller made her choices, and I think we should leave that alone.
Not really your choice, though, is it, mate? Like,
What can I get? Oh, cappuccino, please.
Imagine if she sat with the wrong woman. Hi, I'm your daughter. It's quite a good resemblance, actually.
Yeah.
Ruby?
No, is this going to come to nothing?
Go on, say it.
I was named after a road. Ruby Road. You left me by a church 19 years ago. Oh my God. You left me where I was safe. And I just want to say thank you. I'm so sorry. It's you, Owen.
I quite like the simplicity of that.
I'm glad she actually did speak to her. It would have been pretty underwhelming if they decided to leave that.
I always thought I should get in touch. Every Christmas I thought, right, this is the year. Every Christmas I thought, what if she hates me?
Well, this is awkward. Cara, like, who's this bitch?
Flipping.
Rock up after 19 years old, start kissing my mother.
Yeah.
Blimey.
You really are the most devious woman in the entire galaxy.
Mum set up a bed in Grand's room so Louise can stay the night.
Louise.
Head off, you and me.
Where to?
Wherever you want.
Ruby.
Come out and join. I've told her so much about you. She knows everything. And hold on, sorry, leave that. And no, I said life. The doctor is just mad. And hang on, I better. Oh my God. Do you think they found him? My dad, William. They think. Because it turns out his mum and dad still live at the same address, but she never told him. My mum, my real mum. So she never told Will about me, so he doesn't even know I exist. So we've got to go, and
So I think we're going to say goodbye to Ruby properly now. I mean, she is in series 2, isn't she?
Yeah.
But I don't know if she's just a bit character.
Interesting.
Because there is a new companion coming, isn't there?
Yes.
She was in Boom, playing a different character.
Faith Gial. Space babies.
You can't believe he didn't say it.
No, this is quite emotional, actually. I know the series hasn't perhaps left the groundwork for this as much as it should have done, but there's a sense of, oh.
Will I ever see you again?
Of course you will.
Yeah, I think you're probably right that it just hasn't had the opportunity to lay the groundwork as well as perhaps earlier seasons had done.
And that was my mistake.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll find her again one day.
Oh, teasing it.
But you...
In the Christmas special, maybe.
Now that would be
with
cool.
Stephen Moffat.
Come on, Moffat.
Let's hope so. Let's hope we get a trailer.
Family in a way that I never did before.
Bring Carol and Ford. That's why it's a Carol. Carol singer. Carol Ann Ford of the Bells. That'll be the name of the Christmas special.
Calling it now. You heard it here first, folks.
Carol Ann Ford of the Bells. Yeah, this has been quite well acted, actually. I love you too.
I would agree that I'd agree that with the material they've been given, they've done a good job of acting what they've got in this story.
Yeah.
See, the issue with the Doctor crying is that he's cried so much, like it's like he's out of jammy dodgers, so he cries, and it just loses any weight.
Right. He's out of jammy dodgers.
We're going to see the TARDIS properly dematerialise for the first time for a long time.
Oh, hole in the ceiling, is there?
New mum took that quite well.
Yeah.
She accepted that with no problems.
Or is there going to be a little teaser here?
I think, yeah, there must be something. Oh.
Oh.
Is this Mrs. Flood?
It is.
With a very happy ending for little
So who is she?
someday.
Come on, Mrs. Flood. Show us your colours.
Give us something.
Ruthlessly. And what happens, you might wonder? Oh, what happens to that mysterious traveller in time and space known as the Doctor? I'm sorry to say his story ends in absolute terror. Night, night.
Now, will there be a trailer for Christmas? I mean, it's a bit early, but you would have thought some kind of teaser.
Doesn't look like there is.
They've got the whole of season 2 filmed as well.
Wow. So will it be Christmas special and then season 2 comes out?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Paul, take it away.
Huh. Well, the only reactions I'd seen online were really terrible. And so I was expecting something really, really bad to happen. Like, you know, like an absolute disaster of an episode. And I don't think it was a disaster of an episode. I mean, I think... I don't know. I think the defeat of Sutek felt too quick and too easy.
Yeah.
And the kind of sticking a dog leash on him and then dragging him. And I really like the idea of bringing death to death.
Yeah, that's clever, isn't it?
And you know, I sort of reference in there like the last enemy to defeat is death, and you know, there's a couple of there was another episode, wasn't there, where we talked about the sort of almost Christ-like aspects to some of the things Rusty Davis occasionally throws in. I don't think it was when we were talking about Boom, even because obviously that did talk about that kind of stuff. But
was it Dot and Bubble at the end? We were talking about the saviour figure being rejected and
sacrifice. Yeah, and willing to. Yeah, that it was exactly that. That's right. Yes. So there's an interesting echo of that here as well. That kind of, you know, those elements of bringing death to death, and so I like that idea, but I didn't quite understand how it happened. They just dragged him through the vortex by a dog lead, and that was enough for him to. They just waved death near other death, and death died. You know, I didn't quite get what the logic was in how they reached that point. Even though I think the concept itself of saying, "Hey, let's bring death to death," is a really good idea. I don't. You know, when sometimes you've got your story here and you've got what you want to happen over there, but you've got to find a way to bring them together. But it just felt like Rusty Davis didn't really know how and went, "Here we are."
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit disappointed in the defeat of Sutek. It felt a bit too easy and a bit underwhelming. And I said to you partway through, I think we're looking at a hard reset here.
Yeah,
because everybody had died. I mean, by the time they said, "Here are the last 2 living people in existence," you were like, "Well, we know where this is going to go, don't we?" Because Otherwise, season 2 is going to be really pretty dull. Just the Doctor and Ruby and no one else left in the universe. I think. I don't know. Like, was I? Am I? I think I'm a bit underwhelmed by the mum reveal. I think, to build it up like that and then be like, turns out it's just a random woman, and and then we can just, and if we just put, and then that whole thing about like, but we thought she was important, and therefore she became the most important person. You're like, it's just word salad, isn't it? Though, it's just Rusty Davis throwing kind of a bit of poetic language at the screen at that point, and you go, it doesn't really make any sense, really. That does it? Like, and. Yeah. So I don't know. I felt a bit underwhelmed by that. I mean, I kind of like. I mean, the most interesting thing out of the whole thing is still Mrs. Flood, because I was surprised to see Mrs. Flood die, and then she had so many plans, and then she died, and I was like, oh gosh, like I thought she was one of Sutek's minions, or or something else like that, but seemingly not, and she's still there at the end, and that's the most intriguing thing. We didn't get we didn't really get a payoff on the Susan thing. It feels really disappointing to have Susan teased through the whole season, and then for it to be like Sutek being like, oh, and I thought I could tempt you back with Susan, that person that you've not visited ever again since you dumped her. Like it feels a bit tenuous, and then for it not to have Carol Ann Ford is a real disappointment, I think. Whether I don't know, I mean, I just think it's a missed opportunity to have actually done something. I mean, I thought at one point in the last episode, my suspicions were going to be that I wonder whether Susan is Ruby's mum and Ruby is actually related to the Doctor somehow. And he said you can have grandchildren without having all that stuff out of time and stuff, and I did wonder whether there was going to be some aspect to that, and I think that would have been, although I'm sure that would have annoyed people like in some way, shape or form, at least it would have, this just felt a bit underwhelming, like it turned out it was really nothing.
And why did she point at the sign?
Oh yeah, I mean that's just absolute nonsense again. It's the kind of thing that that, and that's the thing where you look at it and you go, you've got an idea. Wouldn't it be nice if her mum named her because of the road, Ruby Road? But there's no real way to make that a reality in your story in a logical way. It's just, I'm going to get her to turn and point. But no one was. Who was there to see that? Who did she think was going to see that? Like, and who therefore saw that? Like, it's. So there's a lot of little things like that. I mean, as an episode, I mean, it was fine in the sense that I didn't have my head in my hands in the sort of some way, in the ways I could have done, but I don't think it's quite the payoff I was hoping for. I mean, I like the scale of the Sutek stuff. So the bringing death to all things. I mean, and the idea that the Doctor has brought death to all these planets, or that Sutek has via the Doctor in his travels, was the scale of it is great. But then you've inevitably put yourself into a corner at that point because you have to completely undo the whole thing. And then I think you got to, and I think what happened was you're then at a point where you go, there is no real way for me to undo this whole thing. Stick a dog lead and a whistle on him, and we're all good. So visually, visually it looked great. I don't think the show, has really ever looked better than it has in this season and stories like today. I mean, I think the Jackal looked great. I thought in the last episode when he appeared, he looked a bit sort of cartoony, but I think, like you said, it was a bit better in this episode, particularly from a distance. But and we never found out why they decided to do a song and dance at the end of The Devil's Chord. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Those are my opening statements.
I think I'd echo most of that. I think, having read, it was quite helpful how awful the comments, the reviews brief reviews I'd heard were, because it meant I set my expectations quite low. It was actually better than I expected.
Yeah, I think the same.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the ideas in there, actually, as you say, that the whole defeating death with death. That's a deep idea, and where have we heard that before? Interesting. So that was good. I think the ideas were good, but the execution in both the writing and some of the kind of editing wise, or it just felt, the pacing felt a bit off, and I wonder if we would have felt the weight of that moment where he's dragging him through the vortex a bit more if it had really built up to that, and given more time to that, because it just, as you say, it just felt a bit too simple, and there's no way that a bungee cord could withstand being attached, connecting the TARDIS to the god of death, hurtling through the vortex. So why not just make it like a proper special cable or something? Yeah, just give some better, use a stronger material, Doctor, is what I'm saying. But
yeah,
and I quite like the fact that when he whistles, you think he's whistling to get the dog to do something. That's sort of the joke, but then the TARDIS is what's actually responding his whistle. I quite like that, prizing it away from Sutek. And I found it. I'm a real sucker for children being united with their parents' stories. So even when it was a bit of an anticlimax who her mum was, just the simple fact of showing them reunited, I found quite emotional. And I think the Doctor, Gatwa did a good job of doing that alone in the TARDIS thing afterwards, which is what RTD has always loved to do, isn't it? When the companions have gone, showing the Doctor alone again. And some people might say that's overplayed, but I kind of like that sense that every time his companions always move on or die, and it's part of the reality of being the Doctor, isn't it? Something I didn't quite get, I'd almost be interested to see it again, was that line actually in the vortex where the Doctor's like, "You made me become deaf," or something. Is that what he says? Did you catch that bit?
Something like that. I am become death.
Destroyer of worlds. Oppenheimer quoting the Hindu scriptures.
I was still really struck, like I said, in that vortex scene. I mean, actually, I'd noticed it earlier on, but I hadn't got around to mentioning it. Just as I said, the visual aesthetic that is very much like Ghostbusters. Of like the black dogs, in Ghostbusters you had the black dogs with the red eyes, and it's very similar in the Jackal here. And then Gozer in Ghostbusters, this sort of skull-faced kind of thing, is very similar to sort of some of the imagery you've got with Susan Triad and that lot.
Yeah, and that is a cool image, isn't it? Splitting the sky open.
Yeah. Yeah, it just... Yeah, I don't know. Some of it just felt like like I said, it was I'm going, okay, I get the death to death thing, but it's too quick.
Yeah, because that would be a really cool way of defeating Sutek, but it doesn't quite land because it just kind of comes from nowhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Colonel Chidozi was still alive. I hadn't noticed that.
Chidozi's back, yeah. So yeah, and these, so basically, as this was happening, I was thinking to myself, but this kind of means that nothing that's happened in the episode has any weight.
Yeah,
like it's all under. I mean, it's a bit like Last of the Time Lords in that respect, isn't it? Like everything just winds back a year, and
so a little moment between Kate and the dude here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this line. I think it's here. It's quite weird watching it with no sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this bit when he cast.
I did expect him to say Gallifrey, like there. It's a way of bringing Gallifrey back. I wonder whether that was. I wonder whether they'll use that later on.
Tech Tayun. Yeah, I'm just intrigued by what he said here.
At this point, I thought they were going to cut the rope, and the rope was going to go whip through his legs and let him go.
Oh.
I thought it'll probably hit him in the old jaffers if he's not careful.
Yeah, so again, yeah, it's quite overt messianic imagery, isn't it? And
definitely elements of it, definitely borrowed ideas. Whether I don't know, and I don't know even how aware of some of that RTD would be. I mean, you might think, yeah, you must be, but who knows?
Yeah, but you're right. That did annoy me. That line later on where he's like, "Oh, things are valuable because we invest in them," and so he's like, religion and all these things, yeah, it's what you put in, isn't it? And you're kind of like, so if things are only valuable because we value them,
yeah,
what does that mean for like human rights and stuff?
People that we don't value.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any intrinsic value to anything, or is it all just, well,
I think there was this one guy once who didn't see much value in some people, and it ended quite badly. For a lot of people in Europe.
Yeah,
but
a certain.
Yeah, that's a great example though of times where we had it in another story, didn't we? Where we kind of went, I'm not sure. Where you go, I'm not sure someone has followed this line of thinking through to conclusion. Happened earlier in one of the stories. I forget which one, but now. But yeah, so I mean. Not a terrible finish.
No,
not an absolute belter.
Yeah, I don't feel depressed about it, or like I never want to watch the show again after this point, or that Doctor Who is dead or anything like that. Sutek is dead, it seems, or is he?
Do you think back to the Whittaker era and like the end of that first season, like the finale, the Battle of Ranskor, whatever it's called.
Tim Shaw.
Which was, Tim Shaw. With and just not even the feeling of a finale, just like just such a disaster. And when it was not on that level.
This is better than that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to think about I mean, we'll probably do a little season review at some point and get an opportunity to think back over it, because obviously when you're in the midst of it, you're still waiting to see how it all pans out, and then obviously once it's finished, you kind of want to let the dust settle a little bit, the dust of death settle on it, and see what you think of it at the end, I suppose. But I think it will be interesting looking ahead to see, will season 2... I mean, obviously season 2 is already in the bag, so they can't make any changes based on the reaction to the series from people. But I wonder whether, was season 2 already written as something that would be quite different from season 1? That's possible as well. So maybe we'll find that season 2 is a very different direction anyway. Obviously, it looks like Ruby's not going to be involved in such a heavy way. We've certainly got a new companion coming in. Mrs. Flood. The Mrs. Flood thing, I think, is still the most interesting thing.
It is interesting, isn't it? I quite... She looked great in that kind of furs at the end.
Yeah.
In the snow. That was kind of teasing Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder whether she'll crop up in the Christmas one.
It will end in terror.
Absolute terror. Yeah. So again, they're sowing little things there, which is always good, and that's what the season has been good at. It has been sowing those seeds, even if it hasn't. The Ruby's mum thing hasn't really paid off particularly.
Yeah, it's been so-so.
So-so.
I really hope the Christmas special is called Carol Ann Ford of the Bells.
Let's hope so. We live in hope. We live in hope. Dear me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It reminds me of that the reveal that her mum is just a normal lady. It reminds me of that Simpsons episode. You ever seen the one where it's like a clip show and they say, "What's the deal?" It's like what's the deal with Waylon Smithers and Mr. Burns? And it's like, the deal is Waylon Smithers is Mr. Burns' assistant, and that's it. They don't address it at all.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Feels a little bit like that.
It reminded me a bit as well of The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah.
Who were Rey's parents? They were nobodies. And then episode 9 was like, they chose to be nobody. You're Palpatine's granddaughter. And somehow Palpatine returned.
Somehow Sutek was destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not the worst episode of this series.
No,
which is what I was preparing myself for, genuinely.
Space Babies.
Yeah, probably Space Babies. Followed closely by Rogue.
I think I'd probably put that, yeah. But some people have said that they should have started the season with last week. Like the Sutek thing. Maybe they should have done. I don't know. It's hard to... I'm no expert in these things, obviously, so...
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see... I mean... I'll be interested to see what other people's reactions is to this now. Like...
Yeah.
Now I can actually go online and not be too afraid of seeing any... Because what I didn't want to do was like go online and see a picture of Carol Ann Ford.
Yeah.
Just crop up and be like, spoil it. Because think how good it was when we watched, Power of the Doctor for all its faults, and we were like, it's Ian!
That was very cool. Yeah.
And even all the old Doctors appearing,
that was a nice surprise.
David Bradley turning up as the first Doctor, and then obviously the old actors and stuff. Those were genuine surprises, so I would have been gutted if there'd been something in this episode and it had been properly spoiled.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, good stuff. Well, let us know what you think of it in the comments, people. And do join our Discord server to continue these conversations. Link in the description.
I'll be diving in there soon after this to see what people have been saying the last couple of days.
I'm very intrigued, yeah. And we'll be on. We'll certainly watch the Christmas special and watch series 2. But in the meantime, we'll also be continuing with the classic era. So we're currently in Pertwee, season 8, isn't it? We've just started.
That's correct.
So yeah, hold tight to your bungee cords.
Bye. See ya.